Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Sehr verehrte Thầy, liebe Brüder, liebe Schwester und liebe Freunde,
Respected Thai,
vom EIAB,
dear brothers, dear
heute ist
sisters,
der
and
Tag
dear
der
friends
Achtsamkeit,
of the
der
EIAB.
Sonntag, 26.
Today is the day of
April
mindfulness,
2020,
Sunday, the
und
26th
wir
of
sind
April
in dem
2020,
Ashoka-Gebäude vom
and
EIAB.
we
Das
are
ist jetzt hier eine
in
neue
the Ashoka
Meditation
building
Halle.
of the EIAB.
Und
That is a new meditation hall,
ja, das heißt,
and
nach dem Monastic Retreat, und das hat
that
ist
means that
beendet,
after our
am
monastic retreat,
27. Februar,
which
hat unser
was
Institut
ended on the
geschlossen.
27th of
Das heißt, wir
February,
sind jetzt schon
and ever since our
59
institute has been
Tage
closed
in
until
der Halle
today.
von
That
dem
means that
EIAB
we have
Gebäude.
been
Und wir
inside
haben
the EIAB
Regeln
for
oder
59 days now, and
die Regeln mit
we
der
have
Stadt
observed
gefolgt.
the
Wir
stipulations
sind nur zu Hause geblieben
prescribed
und ab und
by
zu
law.
sind wir einkaufen gegangen.
We only stayed at
Und
home,
die
and from
meisten
time to
anderen
time
haben
we
wir
went
schon im
shopping.
Haus. Der trockene Nahrung, die haben wir
And
noch im
most
Vorrat.
of
Aber
the
weil
food we
wir
needed, dry food, we already had this in store.
Vegetarier sind,
But
ja sogar
given that we
vegan,
are
wir essen nur
vegetarians
Gemüse
and even
und
vegans,
Grünzeuge.
we
Und
only
deshalb
eat
müssen wir noch
vegetables
einkaufen, aber
and green
vielleicht
stuff.
jede zweite
And
Woche oder
this is
dritte
why
Woche.
we still have to go
Und
shopping,
unsere
but
Brüder und
maybe every
Schwestern sind jetzt
second or
fleißig
third
beim
week.
Pflanzen.
And our brothers and
Aber bis wir
sisters
ernten
are
können, das
now
dauert noch ein paar Monate.
diligently planting
Und
vegetables,
ich
but
nehme
it will
diese
take a
Gelegenheit
couple of
wahr,
months until we can
die
harvest these vegetables.
Freude
And
und
I would like to
Freundinnen
take
von der
advantage of this
Sangha
opportunity to
und Brüder und
thank
Schwestern
our
von unserem
friends of the
Yoga-Sangha,
Sangha and the brothers
besonders
and
die
sisters of
Vietnamesen,
our local
die sich bei
Sangha,
uns mit sehr viel
especially the
Nahrung
Vietnamese
Reis
friends.
und
They
selbstgekochte
supported us with plenty of food, rice,
Essen
and homemade
geschickt und wir können jetzt noch
food
leben.
they sent to
Und wir
us,
danken auch
and
sehr
now
viel
we
Freude,
can
die
still
uns
live on
aus
that.
Gent
And we also would like to thank those many
gegeben
friends who
haben für diese
donated
Zeit,
money,
Spenden gegeben haben für diese Zeit.
who gave us money for
Ja, das
this
ist so
time,
das Leben im Kloster.
who made donations
Und
for
für
this
uns
time.
die
This is what the
Situation
life in the
ist,
monastery is all about, and
wir
for
sind
us,
schon gewöhnt.
the situation as it
Mönch
is,
und Nonne so
we are used to it by now, being monks
zurückziehen,
and nuns.
In
We are used to
Orte
secluding
zu
ourselves,
leben, ist für uns ganz normal.
to
Und wir freuen uns
live in
sogar
seclusion.
dafür,
It's quite normal
dass
for
wir
us,
glücklich sei, jetzt
and
nehmen
we are
können,
even happy
für
about
uns
it,
zu
because
sorgen
now we can take the
und die
time
Zeit haben, unseren Körper,
to take care of
Geist
ourselves,
zur Ruhe
and
zu bringen
we have the
und die
time
Zeit wirklich
to calm our
alle
body and
und,
our mind, and we can really
Achtsamkeitspraxis wieder zu
use
üben.
this
Das heißt,
time
achtsam auf
to
jeden
practice
Schritt, achtsam auf jeden
mindfulness.
Atemzug, achtsam auf unsere
That means we are mindful of every
Gedanken,
step,
unseren
of every
Gefühlen.
breath,
Und wir
of
haben
our
die
thoughts,
Zeit,
of our
uns
feelings,
vertiefen in der Lehre
and we are
von
also
Buddha
taking the
und
time
innerhalb
to
von
delve into
der
the teaching of the
Sangha
Buddha.
haben wir auch Klassen
And
organisiert,
within the
wo die
Sangha,
älteren
we have
Brüder und
classes,
Schwestern, die jüngere
we have
Brüder und
organized
Schwestern,
classes where the
die
elder
den
brothers and
Unterricht geben,
sisters
und wir lernen
teach the
auch
younger
die
brothers and sisters,
Achtsamkeitspraxis, die Präzept,
and
und
we are also
wir haben auch
learning
sehr viel
the mindfulness trainings, the
Austausche
precepts,
zu den Monastiken
and
gehabt. Und außerhalb von
we
diesen
have a lot of sharings
wir haben
between
unseren Garten in
the
der
monastics, and
unser Gemüsegarten, unseren Blumengarten.
and apart from that we have our garden in the EIAB, the vegetable garden, the flower garden, the Buddha garden. We took care of all that, maintained it, and now
Und wir werden dann die
we have beautiful landscapes around us,
Garten, von unserem Gemüsegarten,
and
von unserem Buddha-Garten,
we are going to
auch aufnehmen. Und wir möchten euch auch, mit euch auch teilen,
We are going to make pictures of the vegetable garden, the plant garden, the Buddha garden, of the Buddha pond. And we would like to share these pictures with you to show you how beautiful and peaceful it is here at the EIAB and how well groomed it is. And it's really an oasis here. And this beauty and this peace we would like to share with you. And this is what life in the monastery is all about. It's real life in the monastery now. But what about outside? How about you? And we assume that you might have difficulty, especially at this time. There are so many unexpected things you have to deal with. And we don't know what is going to happen in our lives. And there are many changes in life. And suddenly, all the things we've been used to until now, we have to stop this and we are starting a new life. Maybe you might be enjoying this free time that you have now to do what you always wanted to do. For example, tidying your home or maintaining your garden like we do this, or you might enjoy the landscape. You might do cycling tours or you might go hiking, but we are sure that there are many people who live in towns and cities, who live in small apartments, and now they are living very closely together in a small place, and we assume that this must be hard, tough on you. And 24 hours per day we live together, and normally we go to work 8 hours per day and then we return home. And you don't have to spend 24 hours every day together all the time. And we don't have any freedom of movement, and this is quite hard. And there must be a lot of emotions coming up, unpleasant emotions, unpleasant feelings, and also there might be a lot of disagreement about the way you want to live. You want to behave, and these various opinions might lead to conflicts, might result in conflicts, and when we have conflicts, it's very unpleasant. When we live closely together, you can't escape the other persons. And then what is more, if you have kids at home, the kids don't have any room to play outside. They have to stay at home and they don't know what to do. And the parents have to deal with the kids, to look after the kids, spend time with the kids, and those are things that's quite hard to deal with. And there is anxiety, sorrows, and conflicts at home. We might be feeling like we can't live anymore. We don't have any air to breathe or to release our feelings, and it is like we are on one side of a river where there is a lot of confusion and helplessness and pain, but then there is another side of the river, and in Buddhism we call that the side or shore of freedom, of liberation, of peace, and of happiness. And how can we get from the side or shore of suffering, cross over to the other shore of a liberation of all unpleasant attitudes of mind. In Buddhism, we have a practice called the practice of the 6 parameters. The six perfect attitudes of mind. And when Thich Nhat Hanh, our teacher, translates these 6 parameters, then he translates this word as crossing over to the other shore or side. And how can we do this? How can we cross over to the other side? We need tools or elements to do this. We need practice which helps us to do this. When we practice this, then we can leave the shore of suffering and misery and cross over to the other shore of liberation. And these are mental states. But how can we practice this? And the Buddha showed us 6 or recommended 6 practices. And the first one is the practice of giving Dana. Dana means giving. It's the practice of generosity. And the second practice is Shila. All these words at the beginning are Sanskrit words. And after that follows the translation into German. Shila means for monks and nuns. It's a precept that the monastics have to follow, to observe. And maybe for the monks we have 250 precepts, and for the nuns we have 348 precepts. And for our lay practitioners, we use the word precept or rule, but maybe you might be scared away by this word, but we would like to tell you that these are just agreements and mindfulness trainings that we have defined for ourselves to be able to live in harmony and peace. Then it's much easier to observe these rules or precepts. Shanti means patience and perseverance and the ability to stand things, resistance, be able to stand difficult situations, and we are indulgent, and then we are able to transform this suffering which has been which has been done to us. And the 4th practice is Virya. That is an effort, making an effort. So it's a positive effort and an intensive effort, and it's diligence, because we are diligently working to achieve something, to produce a result. And the 5th is dhyana, and that is about contemplation and concentration, the practice of meditation, of contemplation. We are focusing so that our mind doesn't become absent-minded or turns around like a merry-go-round, and then we are not able to concentrate. And the 6th one is prajna. It's the wisdom. We are cultivating wisdom inside and deep looking. And now, all of these practices, we can cultivate them, because these are about the integrity of mind. And how can we achieve this integrity of mind? We can only achieve it by cultivating these practices every day, every minute in our life. Then we will be able to reach this integrity of mind. But all these points mentioned there, every single parameter is interconnected with the other. We call that the state of interbeing. When we practice one, we also practice the others at the same time, and then you will see in the course of this Dharma talk, when you really practice one of these well, we are also practicing the others at the same time. And when after discussing all these points, you will see that the basis of all these practice is contemplation and meditation, or we could say it's mindfulness. Mindfulness can be seen everywhere. We have to practice mindfulness everywhere, and by practicing mindfulness, we also practice meditation, and all of these practices, and to practice all of them we need mindfulness. That means the basis of all these practices is the practice of mindfulness. With the help of mindfulness we are able to recognize many things, and
Das ist die Achtsamkeitsglocke von Bruder Pfaffen.
This was the sound of mindfulness of Brother Pfaffen. We are very happy and of this, of all the voices of the animals and the bell of the church. We are taking the time to really pause, to relax our body, and then we breathe mindfully, and the duration of the bell is long enough for us to really pause, and we can ask ourselves, how is my body and my mind doing at this moment? And then we relax our body and our mind. And this is the purpose of the mindfulness, of the bell of mindfulness. And today, I think we are going to hear it, and we are going to be enjoying this bell of mindfulness today. And we discussed mindfulness, so the practice of mindfulness accompanies our entire day, and all activities should be accompanied by mindfulness, and this is what we want to remember. Whatever we do, it should be done with the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness enables us to see other people's suffering, other people's sorrows, and when we see other people's difficulties and sorrows and their suffering, then what do? We have to respond, we have to act. We feel within us this effort, this endeavor. We are willing to help other people, and when we have the impression, or when we feel the desire to help other people, then we are getting to Donna. That means we want to help other people. Helping. So then we go back to the first precept, to the first practice. By being mindful, we see other people's pain and misery, and we want to help them. We want to give them something. And giving or helping or practicing generosity towards somebody is something that we can do in many various ways, especially at this time of the corona crisis. There are so many people who are suffering now, who have difficulty, and now this is an opportunity for us to practice giving and generosity. We may give materials, but also immaterial things. For example, we can give time, we can offer understanding, we can offer acceptance, and we can offer knowledge, the practice of knowledge. And now we can practice all of these points, give materials. At this time, there are so many people who are homeless, They live on the street, and we have the curfew, and therefore they don't get any food. Nobody gives them any food, and there are many people or organizations and groups who collect money and buy food and bread and offer these homeless people food. This is something, this is about offering material. Or for example, our friends of our institute, they gave us rice, or they give us rice and bread that we can eat. There is a bakery called DLS near the EIAB, and they offer us our daily bread. This is the practice of Dana. Why do we give Dana? Why do we help other people? To alleviate their pain and their sorrows and their misery. We see other people's misery and sorrows, and we want to alleviate it. And we want people to feel less pain and to be less anxious, and this is why we give them something. And at the same time, we also give. We are taking their anxiety away. So what we share with them is their anxiety and their sorrows and their difficulties. Give time, especially now at this time of the corona crisis. Almost everybody stays at home, and suddenly we have a lot of time, and we can also give and offer this time. We give the people who live with us, our partners, our children, we give them our time. We take care of them well. We can play with the children. We can teach the children something. When we still had to work, we had less time for those around us, but now we have the time for our family members, and we take the time. We ask them we ask them about their joy and their dreams and their requests in order to learn more about them, to understand them better, and we also ask about their sorrows and their difficulties, and we share it with them. And especially when we talk to them, we can also discuss their dreams and their wishes and ask them about that. And this produces two effects. If we ask them about their dreams and wishes, then they focus on the future, and we are giving ourselves we are offering us the thought of a thought that this crisis is going to end, that there will be a tomorrow and a life after this crisis. And so we are confident and we are offering ourselves and the others hope. So this crisis will not go on forever. It will end someday. And this is also the practice, the Buddhist practice of impermanence. All phenomena are not stable and they don't last forever. They are all they are finite, and this crisis will end, and they are impermanent. So for the short term we can look into the future, but also for the long term, and we can make plans, we can set targets and objectives for the short term and for the long term. And by talking and discussing these targets, this will give us so many positive feelings and aspects, and we get out of this predicament and out of our difficulties. And there are a lot of elderly and sick people, especially at this time, people who are in homes and they can't go outside, and we take the time either to talk to them on the telephone or to send them emails or communicate with them through the social media, or we could send them letters, and it's just nice writing a letter or writing a postcard. And we can offer these people who don't have any contact with others now, or people we may not have been in touch with for a long time, we can offer them a letter or a postcard asking them how they are. And this is the time that we can give and offer other people, and we share their sorrows with them and also their difficulties, their sorrows. And this is what offering time is about. Also, there are many people, because their restaurants and shops are closed, or they are jobless, or they work short time. They have a lot of time now, and they offer their time by making mouth guards in order to help other people. At this time, there's a lot of Vietnamese people sewing mouth guards day and night, and they are offering them to people because from today we have an obligation to wear mouth guards in Germany, and everybody needs so many mouth guards. And the nuns here at the EIAB, they are sewing diligently mouth guards. For example, today we have made 100 mouth guards for our bakery nearby. And we have a home for the elderly nearby, and almost all of us yesterday we were sewing until 10 p.m. to make mouth guards, and today our sisters are continuing to sew. That means we are offering material, of course the cloth that we buy to make the mouth guards, and we also offer love. Every single activity that we give when making these mouth guards, and all the things we are doing here, cultivating our garden, our vegetable garden, it's all about love of those around us. And we also offer acceptance. Living together is difficult. Everybody has their own character and their own opinions about how to do things and about how to make things. I just saw then we were making our mouth guards. Some people want a mouth guard with a rubber band and some with a cloth ribbon, and some want lace ribbons, and some want a wire, and some don't. So how can we bring all these different wishes and opinions together to be able to live in harmony? The solution is by acceptance. We accept the opinions of others, and we also accept our own opinion. Sometimes we have to make a step back to cede way to the others, and sometimes we see that they might be doing things right, and we might ask them how to reconcile our differing opinions. How much can we give up to advance together? How many steps can we advance? And now we are achieving a compromise. Everybody can do things the way they want to do. So we have men and children. There are people who want a rubber band. There are people who want a cloth ribbon. So we make all this possible, and everybody has got different tastes, and if we give away 300 mouth guards in various shapes and colors and ribbons, we offer joy to all people. And this is also a compromise. And the word compromise in Buddhism, we call it the middle course. No extremes. We avoid extremes. And by avoiding extremes, we can achieve to live together in harmony. We can accept other people. We can tell our opinion, but we can also let go of our opinions. And when offering Dana, it's all combined. We offer love and time and acceptance and disagreements. And what we can also offer in this time is our practice. Thank you very much to the bell of mindfulness. The bell of mindfulness just reminded me that I talk too fast. This is an advantage of the bell of mindfulness. We are supposed to have this bell of mindfulness always with us. It reminds us of what am I doing now. At the moment where we hear the sound of the bell, I just wondered, what am I doing? Oh, I was talking so fast. And it reminds me that I was talking so fast. And in your daily lives, when you hear the sound of a bell like this, you could ask yourself, what am I saying? Is anything that I'm saying, does it make sense to me and to the others? And then we can decide if we want to change it or not. And the bell of mindfulness just reminded me, hey, slow down, sister. Speak slowly, take your time. Take your time, speak slowly. Be more mindful of your speech. So thank you, thank you. So we said that we can also offer our knowledge and our practice, and the knowledge, this is what we are offering you. What we practice, what we learn from our Buddhist teachers, we are offering you right now. Through our practice, we have gained the stability to help people by offering them our stability at this time. In this time of upheaval, everybody is unstable, mentally unstable. If someone is stable, somebody who is calm and who is really strong and deeply rooted in the ground, such a person can help many people. Our teacher used to say, if there is a boat in a storm, and if there is one person who is calm in that boat, it is possible to overcome that storm. And so we have online events. There was an online retreat that we gave. We gave online Dharma talks to give you our practice and our stability, to offer that to you, our inner peace. And especially what we need at this time is the practice of fearlessness. Everywhere there is fear at this time. And we are going to give a lot of talks about anxiety and fear, on how to overcome anxiety in this time. And with the practice and with the trainings and with the help of the Dharma talks, we can alleviate and ease your pain. And this is also some kind of dana. We are offering you the feeling of, we are offering you a feeling of the fear being there, but we can alleviate it. And this is the greatest act of generosity that you can give people. Fearlessness, release and ease fear. And then I would like to discuss the second point. That is, it's about observing agreements and rules and stipulations within the community and of mindfulness. And normally if you hear the word guideline or preset, then you are a bit shy, because we all don't want to strictly follow rules, because we want to be free. And if you hear the word rule or preset or guideline and observe and follow, then we think, okay, it's about obedience. And we are always afraid of the word obedience. We feel that we have to follow orders, and we have to follow defined rules, and nobody wants to do that. We are so happy about the freedom we have now, and now suddenly we have to follow rules all the time. We have to strictly follow guidelines. But especially in this crisis, obedience and following and observing rules and agreements and guidelines prescribed by the community and the state and law is really very important in order to protect ourselves and thus to protect other people. For example, in a family, we
Zum Beispiel
have
wann wir
agreements as well.
frühstücken,
For
wann
example,
wir
when we
aufstehen,
have breakfast,
wann wir
when we get
arbeiten,
up,
wann wir
when we
gemeinsame
work,
Stunden haben.
when we
Und
spend
die
time
Harmonie
together
in der Familie oder in der Gemeinschaft
to
haben,
maintain harmony
zu haben,
within the
möchten wir
community
diese
or the family.
Vereinbarungen folgen.
We would
können
like to
zusammen
observe and
sitzen
follow these
und planen.
agreements. We can
Was
sit
können
together and make
alles zusammen
plans
machen? Was kann
about
jeder
what we can do
getrennt
together,
machen? Und es gibt
what
bestimmte
can everybody do
Zeiten,
individually, and
wo
then
wir alle
there
zusammen
are
etwas machen
specific
möchten.
time periods where we can do
Zusammen
and want to do things
Radfahren
together. For example, we might want to do cycling tours together,
oder zusammen spielen oder zusammen
or we might want to
etwas
play
lernen,
together or learn something
eine
together,
Sendung zusammen hören, schauen,
watch
die wir
TV together,
lange schon geplant haben,
or
oder
listen to a
zusammen
program,
das
something
Haus,
that we've
die
been
Wohnung
planning to do
aufräumen,
for a long time, or
zusammen
we
im
might want to
Garten
tidy
arbeiten.
our home
So
together, work in
etwas
the garden
planen
together.
wir zusammen und dann möchten
And
wir
these are things
folgen.
we plan
Denn
together, and
ansonsten,
then we
wenn
want to
jeder machen, was
follow
will,
these
dann
plans,
gibt es
implement
keine
them, because if
Harmonie in der
everybody
Sangha,
does what they want to do, there is no harmony in the
in der
Sangha,
Familie.
in the
Und zum
community, in the
Beispiel,
family.
jetzt,
For
man sagt,
example,
Ausgang,
now
Beschränkung, dann möchten wir das
we have a
aufheben.
curfew,
Oder Mundschutz tragen,
and then
wenn
we
man
should follow the
nach
curfew,
draußen
or
gehen.
when it is
Und
about
solche
wearing the mouth guards when
Vereinbarungen
going outside,
sollen
we
wir
should
auffolgen.
follow
Jedes
such
Plan,
rules,
jede
stipulations,
Disziplin liegt
because
Gehorsam
everybody
an. Aber
requests us to
Disziplin
do
und
that
eben
and
auch
to
Gehorsam hier
to be
ist
obedient.
wirklich im
And discipline and
positiven
obedience
Sinn.
here is really a
Und wir
positive
möchten das
thing
ausleben.
here.
Und wenn jeder
And we want to
auch
practice
Lust
this.
oder
And if
Ausdauer
every
an
single
etwas
one
machen, das führt auch zu Unruhe
does
in der
something
Gemeinschaft,
else, it will cause
oder
unrest within the community and
in
unrest
der Familie. Und
within the
wir
family.
möchten im Hinterkopf wissen, wozu ist
And we
das
want
Leben?
to remember,
Wir leben, glücklich zu sein. Und
why do we live? We
glücklich zu
live in
sein
order to be
ist
happy.
nicht einzelne Sache. Glücklich zu sein
And
heißt,
being
dass
happy
die
is not
ganze
just one
Familie
thing. Being happy is about the whole entire family. If everybody,
ist, dann ist die ganze
if one
Familie
person is happy, then the entire
wir möchten auch
family is happy,
den
and
anderen glücklich machen dadurch.
we want to make the others happy as well.
Und wenn wir
And then we can
irgendetwas
be happy too.
tun, und was macht den
And if we
anderen
do
unglücklich,
anything
das macht dann
that makes the other
Unruhe,
person
stiftet
unhappy,
Unruhe
then
in
it
der
will cause
Familie
unrest
oder Unruhe
within the
in der
family
Gemeinschaft,
or unrest
dann
within the community.
nicht den Sinn der Sache. Es ist nicht der Sinn
And that is
des
not
Lebens.
helpful.
Leben ist
It's not the purpose of
Freude,
our life.
Glück,
Life is about
sich
joy
selbst und den
and
anderen
happiness,
zu tun. Und deshalb
and
das
to
Folgen,
make yourself and others
Folgen
happy. And
von
this
den
is why following
Vereinbarungen, von der
and
Regel,
observing
den
agreements and
Regelungen,
rules and
die
guidelines
uns selber
prescribed by
aufgebaut
law,
haben, das gehört auch
and
zum
that we have made
Glücklichsein.
ourselves,
Das
that we
gehört
have defined
dazu,
ourselves.
dass
This is
wir
also part
von
of
dem
being happy.
Ufer des Leidens zum anderen zu
And
gehen.
it's about
Wir könnten uns
crossing
vorstellen, wir sind
over
am
from
Weg
one side, from the side of suffering, to the other side of liberation. So we could imagine that we are all in a boat on the sea.
sicher zum anderen.
How can we safely cross over to the other side if one in the boat is really
Widersteht, folgen nicht diese
is full of
Regeln,
resistance and doesn't follow the rules
das Boot wird sinken.
specified for the boat is going to sink.
Wenn wir immer
Just like in a
Unruhe
family, if
wenn wir
we
immer
always cause unrest and trouble,
den
if there is always resistance
von der Familie stiften Unruhe
to these agreements specified by the family, then we cause trouble and unrest, and sooner or later this will produce conflicts,
die Beziehung in der
and this
Familie
family isn't going to be happy any longer.
steht auch nicht mehr
And
aufrecht.
the relationships between the members of the family aren't happy anymore. So we should always be mindful of what we are doing,
Sprechen der Vereinbarung,
and then we can be
die wir
in harmony
die wir in der Gemeinschaft gehabt
depending on the rules and guidelines we have specified for our family. And then this is in accordance with these rules, and then we make ourselves and the other persons happy. We don't need to use the word obedience, or we don't have to practice obedience, but every time we should be mindful of our day, of what we say, of our thoughts, of our actions. Is this in accordance with the agreements defined within the family? And this is the practice of observing Shila and practicing Shila. The third point is patience, Shanti, patience and perseverance. This is a very important practice, and we can see that many people who are impatient don't manage to finish or to complete an activity, and patience is really a virtue that we should cultivate and practice. Patience, perseverance, the ability to endure things, endurance. We can practice all that. Of course, there are people who are happy enough that they were born with these virtues of patience. They are full of perseverance. They are full of endurance. They can be indulgent with other people. And we can also practice this. If we weren't born with many of these virtues, and we can see how to exercise this, how to practice this. It's also about meditation. Can we stay within one position for 10 minutes or 30 minutes? Can we remain in one position? This practice of meditation is the basis of support, or it supports the practice of Shanti, of patience. While we are sitting, we may feel some pain, and there may be some itching, but all these sensations of the body, we can endure them, and we can watch them, and how they change in our body, how those sensations change in our body, and suddenly we notice that they have gone. They were impermanent. And you can endure pain, you can endure itching, and you can watch it and ask yourself, for how long can I endure this? And with time, we can see that in our daily life and in everyday situations, we will endure situations longer. For example, when it comes to sewing the mouth guards. Let me quote one example. Yesterday I saw a sister, and she had a pair of scissors that wasn't very sharp, and she was cutting and cutting hundreds and hundreds of these mouth guards. The mouth guards consists of 2 or 3 or 4 layers, and with a pair of scissors, which isn't so sharp, you keep cutting and cutting bit by bit, and then centimeter by centimeter. And when cutting, she was standing there with a crook bag, and then there were others who were sewing 200, 300, 500 mouth guards. All these activities require perseverance, and if we are not so patient and if we don't have this perseverance, then we quickly give up. And that goes for all activities. There are brothers, sisters who cooks in the kitchen and who are patiently making 100 of activities or performing 100 of activities in the kitchen. And about the things, when I'm telling you the things that I'm telling you, I'm thinking of the story of Momo. There is a character in this story of Momo, and there is a man who is sweeping the street, and with every sweeping motion he is sweeping this long street, and he is asked by somebody, how do you manage this? And he says, with every step he takes, he only concentrates on this individual sweeping motion. He remains within the present moment, and at the end of the day, this long street has been swept. And this is how we can exercise this perseverance. We stay at the present moment. We don't think about the end of this chore, but we remain within the present moment, and suddenly we have completed 500 mouth guards, just staying at the present moment. How can we train and exercise perseverance? Stay in the present moment. Every part of the mouth guard is completed, and suddenly all the work is completed. And if we always focus on the end of an activity or the end of a chore, then it takes a long time. We are not patient anymore. But if we stick with one thing and the present moment, then we have the patience. And it's not only about being patient with a chore, but also about being patient with people. There are people whom we expect to do things. We expect them to change. We expect them to do things the way that we want them to do it. But we can't change people. We cannot expect them to be the way that we want them to be. We have to be patient with them, especially when it comes to raising our kids. When we live with kids, then we've got to be very patient. And practice is a talent. It's an art. Somebody who is patient is very popular, and somebody who isn't patient, many people don't like such people. Being patient is a virtue that you should practice. Be patient with people who live with us, and also we are indulgent with the people who live with us. We are all individual beings. We are indulgent with them, and they do things another way than we do things, and we are indulgent. And also, when practicing Shanti, behind this is the ability to bear and transform pain and misery. There are people who hurt us or who caused us a big deal of suffering, but we can practice the virtue of Shanti, and we tell ourselves that we can endure the pain and it hurts, but we are able to endure it. This suffering, we can endure it. And we can ask ourselves, am I able to transform this suffering and this pain? And all these virtues are part of Shanti. and to transform the pain and the suffering. It's also, it all comes down to meditation again, and in meditation we learn the technique or the art of transforming pain and suffering. So here the practice of meditation, of dhyana, of contemplation leads back to the practice of shanti. And we can't say, okay, I will endure this person. No, it's not easy to do that. We need meditation, and we need the practice of deep looking, and we also need the practice of prajna, by seeing that people's origins and people's stories are different. Then we can accept people the way they are, and we can be indulgent with them. And then everything has to do with via, making an effort. Without making an effort, without this perseverance, we can't achieve the other precepts. And we do this from the bottom of our heart with all our power. And presently there are so many people, for example, when we see people in the healthcare sector, in hospitals, how nurses and doctors and the police and volunteer helpers, the fire brigade, all these people help others. And we find this in point 4 in Virya, the endeavor to ease pain and to do something beautiful for the world. The endeavor to do something good. And at this time of crisis, we see so many bodhisattvas who serve the others and provide service for other people. And all this is in this virtue of Virya. We see young people who go shopping for elderly people. And we also see many other people who do volunteer work, who help in all areas so that we all overcome this crisis together. And especially at this time, we would like to encourage all of you to practice this diligence and this endeavor and to cultivate it so that we can achieve something good and beautiful for the world, because especially if we do good things for others, then we are happy. And we are doing something good for ourselves as well. And concerning point 5, dhyana, we, the monastics from the Plum tradition, we follow the Dharma tradition. We seclude, we withdraw, we live in seclusion. We take the time to return to ourselves and to meditate. Meditating means that we don't carry on at the same pace. We slow down when doing our daily activities. We take the time to withdraw and to feel what is going on, to slow down. We take breaks. We take breaks from hurrying, from walking, from infinite thoughts and activities. We take breaks. We pause. Pause for our muscles, for our body. We take breaks for our breath, because If we carry out an activity, then sometimes we may not be breathing properly, but irregularly and paced, in a paced manner. And when we take this break, we take a look at our breath, so that the breath is deep and slow, and so that at the same time the body can relax. And our breath is so important, and especially now, during the time of the coronavirus, breathing is so important. Now in our Sangha here in the EIAB, we have a sister. A couple of days ago, her brother died due to or with a corona disease. He was a bus driver in London, in England, and there he caught the virus, and he couldn't breathe anymore. During the days before he died, he wasn't able to breathe anymore, and his sister said that she was breathing for her body. She knew that he couldn't breathe anymore, but she did it for him. She was breathing for him, and she knew that this breathing that she had been practicing all the time, how important it is now for the humans and for mankind. She was breathing for him, and we can breathe for all the people suffering from the coronavirus now. We can breathe for these people, for these people who cannot breathe now. And so we see, normally we don't pay attention to our breathing. It's unconscious, but now we are aware of our breathing, because we are telling ourselves that we are breathing for all those who are sick now. And we are mindful of our body. We care for our own health. We take good care of our own health, and we take good care of the others. And now we see that the word of interbeing is so appropriate. Everybody takes care of him or herself in order to take care of the others. We are looking for opportunities, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes per day. We take a break to really slow down our body, to calm our body and our mind, and to breathe. And then we try to make time during the day, maybe in the morning or maybe in the evening, maybe for 30 minutes. We take the time to meditate, because meditation is so important now these days. Meditation, when we breathe during meditation, this strengthens our immune system, and the meditation I gave before is also serves this purpose. The first step is to relax our body, and by relaxing our body, every cell in our body sends a signal to our brain, and then the brain can relax as well. And the brain releases hormones which tell it, now I'm safe, now I'm relaxed. And at once, with our entire brain and the entire body, we relax. And when doing that, we are strengthening our immune system. And with this breathing practice, we strengthen our breathing system, our lungs. And all this is a good prophylactic against the corona disease. And then, when it comes to the third step, we believe in the intelligence and the wisdom of our cells. And we give our cells an affirmative answer. We enable ourselves to heal its body. We tell ourselves and our body, yes, I'm strong. I'm strong. My immune system is strong and healthy, and we should practice this every day, if possible, for half an hour. And if we can't do it, then do it for 15 minutes. But it's a matter of practice. We can only achieve good results when we do this on a regular basis.
Das ist Prajna, die Weisheit. Die Weisheit entsteht, wenn man achtsam ist.
Thank you. And we are getting to the last point about Prajna, wisdom. Wisdom is created by being mindful and by looking deeply. Looking deeply is not only practiced in meditation, but during the entire day we look deeply into all the things we have to deal with. That we have to face, and we look deeply into that particular situation, and by doing that, wisdom is created. For example, when if now we are dealing with a beloved person, then we look deeply into the reason why this beloved person is acting in a particular way, and then we can understand, okay, she has been always used to doing things this way, and her family has been doing things this way, and he or she has been doing this because their character is this way, or they are suffering from a disease, or they had to go through a trauma during their childhood, and this is why she's always heard when I say things. This is why she responds this way, and this is what we call looking deeply. We don't assess a person right away based on the things he or she is saying or doing, but we look deeply into why he or she is doing this or behaving like in a certain way. And we look deeply, and then we understand that there are many conditions resulting in people being the way that they are, and that is what we call deep looking or looking deeply. And it is often created during meditation, but also in everyday situations. And by taking the time now for every activity in our daily lives, we can always pause, come to a stop, don't react right away, but we can look deeply, and we can avoid many things. Many unpleasant things can be avoided by practicing these 6 parameters. Sometimes there were things before I came here that did not comply with my wishes or my ideas or my expectations of a situation, but I really thought, because I always remembered these talks, I told myself to practice the 6 parameters, and then I recognized immediately, okay, what am I giving? I'm giving my consent to the situation. I'm giving my love for this sister who has just done something which was not complying with my wishes, and I can say that this parameter is there is an agreement within the Sangha. Actually, it's not the time to do this now, but today it's lazy day. Okay, today all the monastics, today it's not lazy day, but today it's the time where we don't have to do anything. On the day of mindfulness we don't have to do anything, but the sisters have to work. Actually, she is entitled to taking breaks and to enjoy this. And when we observe all these points, we can recognize that if we include or integrate the 6 parameters into our daily lives, we can avoid so many conflicts and unpleasant things. So try to use the 6 parameters as a lifeboat to take us to the other side or the other shore of freedom and anger and freedom of sorrow, freedom of anxiety, and the other side or shore of peace. We are in peace with ourselves and we are in peace with the others, those around us. So it's the other side, other shore of joy and happiness. Thank you very much.